Hello, I'm Fabio Fontana and I'm the founder of Tao Technologies. I developed this technology and also the method of its application. Today, it's my turn to teach you how to use this device in your own home to obtain the best possible results. What we'll see today is the basic method of using the technology, since in actual fact, this type of device can be used in many different ways. In particular, there is a simple use, which we can learn together, and there is also a professional use dedicated to doctors, physiotherapists and dentists, which serves for the treatment of specific pathologies. Today, I'm going to teach you how to use our device to obtain some easy results. Bear in mind that 50% of the results that can be obtained with our technology come from the basic application. We do not intend with this course to teach people how to treat complex pathologies. What we intend is to teach you to use the technology to improve your posture and movement, to treat your joints and any pain you may have, and to give you direct benefits that you can measure straight away. I hope that with everything you learn in this course, you'll be able to achieve 100% of the results you expected. In case you don't, we invite you to contact us so that we can indicate the most competent professional nearest to you for more advanced protocols. This video course is in any case a great gift from our company. Why? Because up to now our technology has been dedicated to professional operators. Now we've decided to promote it as widely as possible so that you can try it out at home. We've done a great deal of research over the years to simplify the method of using the Taopatch, and today you've come in contact with it. We strongly recommend that you follow our instructions to the letter. Listen to and watch this video course carefully, again and again, and put into practice all the advice you are given. With this video course, you will have received a kit that contains everything you need to do the things you'll see with me today. Inside the box, you'll find the cover of the device. It opens like a book. Then, you should cut away the nylon away from the package. Extract the two devices, which are ready for application. Now, using a strip of sticking plaster, cut off a piece about 5 centimeters long and apply it to the device so that the writing can be read on the outside. That is, the part with the writing Taopatch is in contact with the sticky side of the plaster. And when you apply it to your body, you should always read the writing Taopatch from the outside. When you take off the device, remove the plaster, which should be thrown away, and then put the device back into its special box. Close it well with a double click, so that the devices don't drop out. For the transport, you also have this convenient bag where you can keep the devices and a strip of plaster. Carry it with you when you go to the gym or during your activities. I'll teach you how to use the device and how to carry out some tests on yourself to check its efficacy. Of course, all these tests can't substitute the evaluation of a professional operator or the evaluation of sophisticated measuring and diagnostic instruments. To assure you, however, that you can get the best, our technology has already been handed over to several independent institutes. This means that a number of universities have already been able to carry out random, blindfold studies comparing the actual device with a false placebo to verify that the technology really does give results to 100% of the people. Some of these independent studies have already been published in international magazines in the scientific medical sector and are also present on PubMed, the Government World Data Bank of Medical Research. Martina will help me teach you how to use the device. The first thing I want to teach are the principal points of application, that is, where you should place the devices. One of the most important points of application is the sternum. This is the main point of application. As far as your back is concerned, it's the 7th cervical vertebra. How can I find it? First, look at your feet. Good. And now, with your hand, touch your spine. The largest vertebra you can feel is the 7th cervical vertebra. This is where you should place the device. Another important point of application of this technology is the small of the back. How can I find it? It's simply the point of your back which curves in most. So you can, as Martina is doing now, touch your back and find the place where you feel the maximum curve, the small of your back. An important point for our devices.
Quello è un punto importante per l'applicazione dei nostri dispositivi. Mentre tu mi stai
I don't know you personally, and while you are watching me, I certainly can't help you make a remote diagnosis. Therefore, I ask you to carry out some tests to evaluate your equilibrium, starting from more simple tests and then going on to try some slightly more complex ones. This is called the Romberg test, and it's a preliminary test that we have to do. Martina will carry it out this way. She turns towards me, feet slightly apart, and arms out in front. Certainly, this will be an easy operation. Let's add a variable. Martina, close your eyes and try to sense your movements. Try to feel how much your body sways, and if it sways forwards or backwards, if it sways sideways or in all directions. This is your proprioceptive system, which works to keep you balanced. This test is certainly simple enough for a healthy subject, but in the case of some pathologies, such as Parkinson's disease or multiple sclerosis, it could be difficult to carry out. So, if this test went well, we can go on to the next one. If you had any difficulty at all, do not try the tests that follow. For severe problems of balance, it is advisable to consult a doctor. An ear, nose and throat specialist or a neurologist could identify the reasons for any instability you may have. Let's go ahead and try the test on one foot. That is, repeat the same test standing on one leg with your eyes open. It's important that for each of these tests you learn to sense yourself, to feel how your proprioceptive system works, how the communication between your brain and your sensory perception of movement plays with your muscles to keep you balanced. If you can manage this test easily, try adding the variable of closing your eyes. It's a little more difficult to maintain your balance, and this is important training for your proprioceptive system. Let's try the other foot, Martina. Eyes closed. Okay, thanks. These are simple tests to evaluate your equilibrium and the ability of your proprioceptive system to compensate and maintain your balance. Let's now test your flexibility in some movements. Martina, try to bend down with your legs straight and touch your toes. Stop as soon as you feel any resistance. This is the furthest you can reach for now. Good, thank you. I will show you another test, which however needs two people to carry it out. It's a test which works if you do it exactly as I'm teaching you in this moment, so watch carefully. Martina takes hold of my fist in her hand. Her arm is completely distended, and my hand and hers are resting against her hip. I'm going to ask Martina to lift her leg on the opposite side. That is, if I'm holding her right hand, Martina will lift her left leg and find her point of balance. I move back just a little, and from this position here, I will push downwards, not sideways, not in this direction, but downwards. Watch. Let's do it again, Martina. Lift your left leg and find your point of balance. When I feel that Martina has found her natural balance point, not holding herself up with my hand, I push downwards. Now let's do a test for the rotation of the head. If there are two of us, we can do this. I can ask Martina to turn her head to the right, while I block her shoulders and ask her what she can see: my wrist, my elbow, my shoulders, my ear, or in other words, say what her visual range is. You can do this at home using a wall as a reference, and we'll ask Martina to do it now. Push your shoulders back against the wall, turn your head to the right, and take a reference point. How far round can you see? Same again to the left. Use a wall in your house, a poster, some pictures. Use the place that you like best to try to evaluate the range of movement of your cervical zone. Then, when we apply the device, we'll see the difference. Another important thing to do before putting on the device is to perceive your movements when you walk, your sensations. Therefore, I ask you, before putting on the device, to walk in bare feet, where you are at this moment. Walk backwards and forwards and feel carefully how your feet tread on the floor. So now Martina will do precisely what you should do. Apply the device onto the points we indicated. Perfect. Now, let's look at the alternative point for the back in the lumbar region, the small of the back. These points are in areas we have indicated precisely, but they are in fact centers for the communication of energy of the peripheral nervous system. But don't be afraid, they are very large points of communication of the peripheral nervous system, and so even if the device is placed a centimeter higher or lower, or a little to the right or left, it's perfectly all right. Remember that the aim is, in any case, to apply the device on the middle line in front and as nearly as possible over the spinal column at the back. We've shown you one point at the front and 2 points at the back. These 2 points will be used to change the place of application to see which you find best. Learn to sense yourself, to feel how you move, to check your flexibility, and understand which of the 2 points gives you the most benefit. After applying the device, it's fundamental to have a good drink of water. I'll get one. Here you are, Martina. Hydration is indispensable for the use of the technology. Remember, we're made of water. We advise you to drink a glass of water about once an hour during the day while you're using the technology. First thing you must do, as soon as you put on the device, is to walk. I don't know how you're organized with your space at the moment, but try to take 50 steps. And while doing so, move your shoulders and feel how you put your feet on the floor. Off you go, Martina. We'll wait for you. Walking is the first way to make sure that your body moves, not only as it did before, but with the addition of the new signals that the device gives you, with a proprioceptive system that communicates better, with a central nervous system that is better connected to all the receptors of movement. How do you feel when you walk? Do you feel that your feet touch the floor better? Do you feel that the soles of your feet are more firmly placed on the floor? Do you feel more centered? Ask yourself these questions because they're important in evaluating the efficacy of the device you're wearing. Martina, how did you feel?
I definitely walk better. Sure, and straighter and much firmer on the floor.
Now we can repeat the tests. Let's repeat the test while wearing the device. Martina has one device on her sternum, one on the 7th vertebra, and we'll repeat the tests we did earlier. Arms out front, feet slightly apart, eyes closed. While you're carrying out this test, sense yourself. Feel the way you sway backwards and forwards, side to side. It's your proprioceptive system that controls your balance. Good. Stand on one leg. Good. Close your eyes. Very good. Now change leg. Very good. Now, let's look at your flexibility, Martina. Try to bend down and touch your toes now that you have the device. Let's see. This is the maximum that you can manage for now? Good. Now, let's look at your balance. With your hand, take hold of my fist. Remember that her arm must be completely distended, and our hands are touching her hip. It's important when carrying out this test that there's no lateral or sideways push, but only a push downwards. Martina, lift your left leg, the opposite leg to the hand we're pushing on, and she finds her balance. I move back and push downwards. Now this time, Martina doesn't fall down and can resist my whole weight. This is one of the most tangible effects of this device. Let's carry out the test for the rotation of the head while you're wearing the device. Put your shoulders back against the wall. Turn your head as far as possible to the right, and then to the left. Take note of the reference point and see if the range of movement of your cervical zone has increased. Now, Martina, let's remove the device. You take off the one in front and I'll take off the one at the back. Thank you. And repeat the balance test. Take hold of my fist, arm distended, hand against your hip. Lift your left leg. I move back a little, push. Let's do it again. Try your balance, push. Try this out. Put the device on, take it off, put it on, and notice how your balance changes with or without the device. On, off, on, off. What we've seen so far is the basic use of our technology, but it's also the principal use. It took us years, in fact, to establish which were the most efficacious points on which to apply the device, so that the information could reach the central nervous system and then send it out in turn to the rest of the body. Thus, the application on these 2 points we call application of general rebalancing. For example, if Martina has a pain in her knee or shoulder or a finger of her hand or a toothache, it makes no difference. We always begin by applying one device to the sternum and one on the back at the 7th vertebra. If the pain should be lower down the body, we would probably find it would be more efficacious to apply the device onto the small of the back, as we saw before. Listen carefully to this. Most pain can be eliminated or considerably reduced by applying the device to these 2 points. If the pain or complaint should persist in some joint despite application, it's possible to add another 2 devices or just one where the pain is. Concerning pain, a scale from 0 to 10, known as VAS, is used, which consists of attributing a mark to the intensity of the pain you feel. So you need to ask yourself, on a scale from 0 to 10, where 0 is complete absence of pain and 10 is such acute pain that you want to call out for help, that pain in my shoulder, knee or back, how would I rate it from 0 to 10? In case of pain or any pathology, you must get the opinion of a doctor. Establish the intensity of the pain, apply the device to the 2 points of general rebalance, drink some water and start moving the painful part. Wait for a few minutes, at most half an hour, and ask yourself the same question again. Now, how would I rate the pain? Write it down on a piece of paper. If the pain is still there after the application of general rebalancing, we can add other devices. Now, I'll give you some examples. In the case of pain in the shoulder, we can add 2 more devices, one in front of the joint and another device behind it. In the case of pain in the wrist, or a tendon for example, we can apply the device above the wrist, in this position here, and one on the opposite side, here underneath. Following the same method of application we use for the shoulder, we can apply the device to the elbow too. So, with your elbow bent at 90 degrees, you can put a device here, on this side, and one on the other side, exactly opposite it. In case of a pain in the back, which could be the result of a pulled muscle, do not change the protocol for the general rebalancing. We can imagine that this whole area is painful. Identify the point of maximum pain. If this is the point, apply a device. Drink a little water, bend forwards, gently, bend, bend, very good, straighten up, okay. Wait for a short time and ask yourself how intense the pain is. If the point of the pain shifts, take off the device and put it on again at the new point where the pain is. Some advice I can give you, which in any case is worth trying. Even if you have a headache or toothache, apply the device where you consider best. If we have, for example, a pain in the temple, we could apply a device here to treat the temple or an eye. If we have toothache, maybe after an extraction, deadening of the nerve or other treatment, we can treat the pain by placing a device over the immediate area concerned. There is yet another way of using Taopatch, and it takes advantage of some rules belonging to traditional Chinese medicine, or rather, it's an acupuncture-like approach. The device can be applied to the points of acupuncture, on the Ryodoraku points. One of the most frequent examples could be abdominal pain or menstrual pain. The most well-known point for the treatment of these complaints is stomach 25, according to the Acupuncture Atlas, and it can be found 2 thumb lengths to the side of the navel, using the thumb of the subject as a unit measure. Thus, 2 of Martina's thumb lengths, 1, jump 1, 2 lengths, this will be the point of application of the device, both on the left and on the right. The cervical zone becomes very contracted in most people. My advice is to treat all those points which seem painful to touch. All the points which cause pain when we press them are called tender or trigger points, and they can be treated with this device. Let's look at the knee joints. In case this joint needs treatment, we can apply one device on one side of the knee and one on the other. Move your leg a little.
Vediamo un altro punto importantissimo.
Let's have a look at another very important point. This point in acupuncture is called stomach 36, and it's a point of general toning up of the organism which is used to improve sports performances. The localization of this point is in relation to the kneecap. It's in relation to the external lower edge of the kneecap, which you can feel for yourself. You'll notice on the edge of the kneecap there is a small depression. You have to measure 4 fingers width under this point and press. You need to find the point which is active to the touch, that is, slightly painful, and it's there you apply the device. It's the same for the right or the left leg. Find the depression on the external lower edge of the knee. You have to measure 4 fingers width under this point and press. You need to find the point which is active to the touch, and it's there you apply the device on your body. Studying neurology, or the energy paths of our body, more deeply, we can find an infinite number of ways to use this technology. Please listen very carefully, as I'm going to give you some important advice about how to use these devices. The first piece of advice is don't overdo it. We have established the timing for application so that your body adapts gradually to postural change, and also so that your skin is not too irritated by the sticking plaster. The recommendations are as follows. In the first week, wear the device for only 4 hours a day at the time of day you prefer. In the second week, you can go on to wear the device for 8 hours a day. From the third week, you can wear the device all day. Put it on in the morning when you get up and take it off in the evening before going to sleep. Then, from the fourth week, you can start to wear the device 24 hours a day. For the first month, it's important to follow these indications. And I would like to ask you a favour. In case you have any sort of problem, any unexpected or unforeseen difficulty during this course of how to use the device, for example, you find that your skin becomes very irritated as a reaction to the sticking plaster, reduce the time by half, beginning with just 2 hours a day for the first week, 4 the second, 8 the third, and so on. Another important thing is this. The device works on your posture and movement, so every part of the body where you want to have some benefit must be put into motion. Therefore, the rules are: 1. Apply the device. 2. Drink some water. 3. Exercise every part of the body you want to improve, and above all, remember to walk. If it's your shoulder where you want to have some benefit, or your back, your knee or hip, in all these cases, remember to exercise gently, focusing on the articulation. So, move your shoulders, turn your neck, loosen your back. It's always useful to do regular physical activity. Your body will move better and in a different way when you're wearing the device, but only if you ask to do so. The parts which you don't move while you're wearing this device won't be changed. Listen carefully, as I'm going to give you some important advice about using these devices. It's fundamental that your skin does not disagree with the sticking plaster. Not so much with the device, which is absolutely non-allergic on both sides, but it is important to find a plaster that doesn't irritate your skin. We supply some sticking plaster for you with our kit. Try it out, and if you see any kind of irritation, get the chemist or your doctor to advise you on the best possible non-allergic plaster. We've made this device resistant, and so it will resist the usual bumps, resist well in water, and can be washed safely with soap and water. Indeed, we advise washing it weekly. The device can also be sterilized, but we advise you not to use alcohol-based disinfectants over a long period. Since alcohol is a solvent, over time it could wear out the device much more quickly than usual. The acidity of your skin can also affect how long the device lasts. But I can assure you that you'll feel the effects for at least 2 years, even though the device itself may look a bit worn. When you take off the device, remember to separate it from the plaster. Throw away the plaster and put the device back in its special box. Always put it away without the plaster. Otherwise, in time, the plaster and the device could become stuck together and spoil the device when you eventually separate them. Remember, we are at your disposition should you need any advice. As well as giving you advice by email or on the telephone, we can put you in touch with the best qualified operator nearest to you to treat specifically and professionally any problems with 10 or 20 devices in case your pain or complaint needs more specific protocols. This is supposed to be a very simple video course and does not deal with extremely complex arguments. If you want to understand better how this technology works and learn about it in more detail, we invite you to participate in our conferences, or if you're a professional operator, in our professional courses. Today we've begun a course together, and from today onwards you'll be wearing my technology. It's a device which has been produced to offer you real well-being. It would give me great pleasure if you become aware of the changes that your health can have in connection with this technology, and I suggest you take note of how you feel now and write down in a notebook the changes that occur as time passes. This will help you to perceive the progressive changes that your body will make thanks to this technology. But it could also be useful in the future to help any professional whom you may consult to understand the results you have already achieved applying our devices. Well, after all these examples, I shall thank Martina and say goodbye to her. But I'll remain a little longer to explain something important. I would like to remind you that the Taopatch device in Europe is a Class 1 medical device, and therefore a device for self-application with no collateral effects. I would also like to remind you that the use of this device and video course does not substitute the opinion of a doctor or therapist. Therefore, should you have a health problem, any complaint or pathology, consult your own doctor. The use of this technology and the improvement in proprioception is one of the many things you can do to improve your health. But remember also the importance of diet, regular exercise, and being followed by a qualified professional. I wish to thank you for purchasing this video course and for listening to me right to the end. I hope you'll obtain great benefits from Taopatch technology. Stay in touch with us, and who knows, one day we may meet each other at one of our conferences or in one of our courses. If you are a professional who uses our technology, you can also find a more advanced model of our device called FASQE, used by all professionals who know the full benefits that can be obtained.